Hello again. Welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Pixelgaard. But anyways, today we are going to be picking back up where we left off, delving into Pokemon breeding a bit more, and I also have some fun footage where I took on a new Mega coming up here in just a little bit. Okay, so really good news. I've been farming for after switching to the Fanpy method. I mean, you can see the Fanpy's level 30, and we got it at a level 24. So I've maybe been farming, I think, for maybe an hour and a half. I don't know. I'm like so exhausted right now, but I've been pushing on because I was like, I know I'm gonna get an Everstone soon. I just kept on grinding, and you can actually see the point where I got it right here and the date and everything, because I got a screenshot. Yeah, exciting stuff. I finally got an Everstone. I say finally, like I said, it really didn't take that long. And I'm actually going to keep Fanpy around, I think, just for running around, because like in the time that I was doing that, I also got a TM for Captivate, a TM for Echoed Voice. I got a lot of held items. I got a Sticky Barb, Quick Powder. That was actually from a boss. I got 2 sticks. That was, we were holding that, and I took it off of the Pokemon that was holding it. And then I got a bunch of mail. I got a protein. I got a potion, in addition to our super potion. I got some berries. I don't know if any of them are new. No, actually, I know they're not. Because, yeah, they all slot in there nicely. But yeah, I think out of all the items, I think this is the one I'm most proud of. And also, the Macho Brace. I'm pretty stoked that I've got that. I can't remember where that comes from. I need to check the wiki and see. I can't remember if it just dropped off a boss or just a random Pokemon. I'm not for sure. By the way, this Fanpy really wants to evolve. Every time it levels up, it's trying to evolve. So, I'm having to cancel it out because actually the evolve form does not have the ability that I want. So I have to prevent it from evolving. Also, if you want to see our growing Nidoran collection, I still don't have a Modest. I haven't been... they haven't been breeding long enough that I've gotten a Modest, but I have hatched a few. So, let's see. This is the 4th egg. So, that's not too bad. Like I said, it really didn't take all that long once I got out there and started doing pickups. Now, bear in mind, like I said, once we hit level 50 with our Fanpy, we get a chance to get tier 2 drops, which are the better drops. And then once we hit, it's level 80. I checked a minute ago. Oh, we got a Nidoran female on this one. Please be a Modest. I'm begging you. It's got hustle, but it's not. It's hasty. It's not what I want. The reason I'm going for Modest is it is a drop in attack and a boost in special attack. But what we're going to be doing is basically just creating a powerhouse. 2 powerhouses, in fact. But I'm working on that Modest nature because I want that special attack bonus, because your nature bonuses actually they add up quick to where they're very noticeable at high levels if you got the nature that you're after. Those two are battling, I guess. I just noticed on the map the Pokemon that are breeding, they turn blue. Or the Pokemon that are out in Rancher blocks. And this one's going to make an egg soon. So fingers crossed. I might actually just go work on capturing some Nidorans and try to get a Modest nature. Instead of breeding indefinitely to try to get one, because it could take a really long time. Maybe. We'll see. We shall see. But yeah, so I'll be back once I get a Modest nature. Whether it's from breeding or from catching, we'll see. Okay, it has been a little while. You can see, I went out and I was just catching Nidorans. All the Nidorans I could capture, and I was hatching whatever I was getting in egg form. And finally, after quite a bit of Nidorans, we have a Nidoran male that has a Modest nature. So, and you know, that's still the only Nidoran that I've gotten with the hidden ability is the one that we've got breeding. So, I totally got lucky. I'm so glad I got lucky whenever I was out farming. And I was just, you know, giving it a shot. I was so happy that I got that. Let's go ahead and claim our egg. And I want to manage our Pokemon. I don't want this male in here anymore. The one with the hardy nature, because he's pretty much just in here as a breeding partner for the female that we actually want that has the hustle ability, right? And so then what we're going to do is, let me go ahead and drop our Everstone onto our male. Now, supposedly there's a chance that this can bug, and it might lose the Everstone while it's in the storage. Now, if that does happen, I'm just going to cheat the Everstone back in because we have legitimately got it. I'm not going to grind another one just because of a bug, of course. So, but you can see right here, Modest Nature is going to lower its physical attack. It's going to raise its special attack, which is good. So, whoops, I've got to go dump this thing in the PC real quick. I'm so happy this grind is coming to an end. I mean, now really all that's left is just to breed them until we get the right combinations. Now, if you have the Destiny Knot, if you're going for full IVs, it's a little bit different, and we will get into that later. Like my personal team, we're going to go for full IVs, but not this team. This is our gym team. So anyways, the one that has the Everstone, we're going to put in there. Normally, I would have Everstone and Destiny Knot would be like my two things that I'm running, but not in this case. Because we don't have a Destiny Knot, and because we're not really breeding IVs. So, okay, so now basically what we have to do is we just have to let this run, and we have to get eggs. Hatch those eggs. They should come out every time now as a Modest Nature, since we have the Modest one holding that Everstone. That's what that does. It does some other stuff, like if you have a Pokemon hold it, it can never evolve. But anyways, that's what the point of the Everstone is to make sure that we always have a Modest Nature. It's always going to have the same nature as the parent that's holding the Everstone. So we're going to have Modest Natures. We're going to have an 80% chance that it's going to have the hidden ability, since the mother has the hidden ability. And then the IVs, they're just going to be random. They do get, I think without the Destiny Knot, it's like, 3 IVs between the two parents that basically get copied onto the child. But you don't really bother too much, or I don't ever bother too much with IV and really worrying about what goes to the child up until I get the Destiny Knot, because we'll get into that a little bit later, but it lets us ensure that 5 IVs get sent to the child instead of 3. And of course at 5 IVs you generally want 5 ups and 1 low. Like, especially if you have like a special attacker, you go really low, as low as you can get it on attack, because it's less confusion damage if you do happen to get confused. And then if you're a physical attacker, you don't really care about special attack. So, and then in some cases you want speed down, but that's basically if you want a slow Pokemon. There's some attacks that benefit from having slow Pokemon, but yeah, so anyways, we're going to let this breed. I'm going to hatch eggs. I'm probably about to go to sleep because I've been up for a really long time working on this, and I didn't want to stop because every time I thought about stopping, I got the next step, like, oh, I got the Everstone, or, you know, oh, I got the Modest Nature. But now I'm at a point where I'm pretty much just going to be hatching eggs, taking the best children from the selection, and I need, like I said, I need a good male and a good female with Modest, with the ability, and with semi-decent IVs. I don't necessarily need a bunch of 31s. I just need semi-decent. I don't want to be like really low on everything except for attack, and I'm not even using attack with these builds. So, but yeah, so I'll be back in a while. This episode, if you hadn't guessed, this episode is going to be the culmination of a whole lot of time, to say the least. But so I'll be back in a while. Okay, so I've been running around and grinding up Phanpy, and I was actually listening to some music, so I've got the game volume turned off right now, but I'm just doing a caption. I mean, I'm recording audio later, but anyways, I ran into Final Form Frieza right here, and so anyways, I'm taking it on, and of course, like the other Psychic type megas, it seems to only know Psychic Attack, so it's actually pretty easy going for my Houndoom right here. It does no recover, so it does stall out the battle a little bit, but I did get lucky and get that burn up on there, uh, which isn't too bad. It was just kind of floating over the little lake right here. So, easy win, and we got Mewtwo Knight, Y, Grisius Orb, Rare Candy, and a Bright Powder, which is pretty awesome because the Bright Powder I was actually going to have to farm up, and the Grisius Orb's pretty rare, I think. I did pull the Nidorans out of this little breeding space. And, hello. Get you some rollout. But anyways, I did, while I was breeding, and I have been breeding for about, I don't know, 7 hours, 8 hours, something like that. It's been quite a while. It's been quite a while. And I did pretty much do some miscellaneous stuff, but, oh, that one's a waste. That's got poison point. Not a bad spread. I'd lose on defense, it looks like. But anyways, I did a lot of breeding. These right here, these are Nidorans that are no good. Because these have poison point. They have poison point. I know one of these, there's one with rivalry. And then we've got one here with rivalry. And this one actually came out of the egg with 11 out of 12 HP. And I don't really know why that is. But it did. It was the only one, I think, that did that. No, that one did. Not sure what would have caused that, but yeah. We spawned out of the egg with 11 out of 12. So anyways, unless maybe it had something to do with maybe they were in my inventory longer and something got them, I don't know. Maybe if you take fall damage or something, they take, I don't know. I'm just guessing at the moment. But anyways, between cuts, whenever I was breeding, basically the entire time I was just running around with Fanpy fighting grass Pokemon and bug Pokemon and bird Pokemon. All very, very quick, easy wins for dear old Fanpy here. And it has leveled. You can see I actually got a case of Pokerus running through the party at the moment. And that is due to, of course, as you fight more and more Pokemon, your chance for catching you're going to get a chance for catching Pokerus every time you do a wild encounter. And I did a lot of wild encounters. Like actually between cuts, I got Get Your Grind On, defeat 1,000 Pokemon. So, yeah. I did a lot of battles. And I got a lot of really nice loot. But if we take a look here, I mean, I've got some more TMs. Like, I got Captivate, 2 Echoed Voices, Struggle Bug, Snore, Infestation, Rage, Psywave, Mud Slap, Recycle. This was actually a gift. It was a gift from Oni Kitsune. Because I haven't managed to get one yet, but I've been helping him try to farm a certain drop off of a Pikachu. So that he needs to get one of his legendaries. So I've been working on that because I have Pikachu spawning here all the time. So every time I see one, I kill them and try for that drop. But it gave me a Poison Jab TM, and then Quash, Dream Eater, and Mimic came from drops. And then I also got a bunch of held items. I got some nice ones like Pure Incense. I got Lucky Punch. Lucky Egg I already had. We have 2 of those. But there's just a big variety of different held items. I did get a second Macho Brace. That was actually from a boss, though. A boss drop. That's our Everstone. I took it off. Bright Powder, which I was originally actually going to need, but I changed my mind about my team. We'll probably get into that later this episode. I got, Absorb Bulb is kind of bland. But, yeah, I got a bunch of stuff. And then I got 3 Max Revives. I got a whole bunch of mail and different items and stuff like that. It's been a process, but we have a level 56 Fanpy, and the levels for the better drops, like up to level 51 is tier 1, where whenever the ability procs, which of course the proc chance is about a 10% chance that it's going to proc, and whenever it procs you have a 100% chance to get a tier 1 drop. And then 51 and up is tier 2, where you have a 90% chance to get a tier 1 drop, but then you have a 10% chance to get a tier 2 drop. And the tier 2 drops are better, better loot and stuff like that. And then once we get it up to an 81 and higher, it's going to be at tier 3, where it has, I believe it's 90% chance to get a tier 1 drop, a 9% chance to get a tier 2, and then a 1% chance to get a tier 3 drop, if I recall. And tier 3 drops can be like Master Balls, and can be Experience Alls, and stuff like that. So there's some really good loot. Honestly, I may end up just blowing all my rare candies whenever I get Fanpy, to, let's see, right now I have 10 rare candies. So right now, if I had my Fanpy up to like 71, I'd probably just blow all 10 rare candies on it to go ahead and push it up to the tier 3, because getting that tier 3 is going to be nice. Then Fanpy we can just carry with us, and after I get it to 81, I'm probably not going to level it anymore. Because as long as it's in the party, it's going to give its effect, to have that proc chance for pickup. But lots of nice things that can come from pickup, and also lots of just junk that can come from pickup. Lots of mail and lots of junk held items that are like one-time use and just stuff I'm not going to use. But like I said, I did get an Everstone from that, so I'm happy. I'm very, very happy, and that's been the only Everstone. So I guess maybe I got really lucky, I suppose. But anyways, moving on, we do have these Nidorans here. We have 11 of them, and these all have the ability that we're looking for. Now, some of these I can already tell you straight up without even checking their IVs that they're duds. This one actually probably isn't too bad. The special defense is not great, but for example, this one right here, I can already tell you we will not use this one, because even without looking at its IVs, because it's, you kind of, whenever you have IVs on a level 1 Pokemon, for example with this Nidoran, you could see that most of the stats are on 5s, defense is at 6. Generally, with the range, you're either going to have low end or you're going to have high end. And we're going for ideally majority high end. And so if it's on the low end, you're going to see 5s in the case of Nidoran. So on the low end, in the case of Nidoran, you're going to see 5s. On the high end, you're going to see 6s. So defense is probably pretty good. Might not even be that great. It might just be barely over what it needs. I think I was looking earlier, and I think if it has 20 or above on the IV stat, it's going to hit 6. I believe it is. I could be wrong on that, but we'll get into that in just a second. Now, right now, there's no normal way to check the IVs in Pixelmon. There is an add-on mod, and at first we thought it was for sponge servers only, so that's why we haven't added it yet. But then we were looking earlier, and it's not just for sponge servers. It's the Pixelmon Extras mod, so in the next update, that's going to be added, so people can just use a command to check their EVs and their IVs. Just easy, simple, just type in a command, and poof. We don't have that at the moment. But since I'm an op on the server, I'm actually going to go into creative mode. Just temporary thing. I'm not going to cheat, because if I wanted higher IVs, I could just breed them. But I just want to check the IVs. And we can actually do that with an item in the game. And let's go ahead. Now the other option is I'll talk about that real quick, if we weren't going to use this method, and if we don't have the command to check IVs and EVs, which we're going to use the easy method. Even the default games have the easy method, just Pixelmon hasn't added like a judge function to the PC. Otherwise what you would have to do, because at a level 1 you can't really tell what the EVs and IVs are, or what the IVs are. Of course they have no EVs at the moment. But what you would have to do is you would have to level them up a few levels. Probably maybe around like level 10 you get a more accurate reading. Maybe at level 10, level 20 you get an even more accurate reading. But you would have to do that so that, because otherwise you're just going to know if you have high end or low end on the IVs, which you can basically tell that at a glance. Like this, that's bad. So we are, instead of leveling it, and we'd have to be really particular with leveling so we don't mess up the EVs, even though I think the EV decreasing berries are in Pixelmon now. I'm not 100% sure. I have a whole slew of berries, but even some new ones like egg ant and pumpkin berries, which are a bit more rare. Which we're going to get into a bit more berry growing later. But what we are going to do is go into Game Mode C, and we are going to get the editor, the Pokemon editor, this right here. And you have to be in Game Mode C for this to work. I can't just cheat it in, even being an AWP. I can't just cheat it in and use it in survival mode. And this tool is actually powerful, and it can be exploited. And well, that's my last Pokemon. It can be exploited and everything, so that's the reason it is a Game Mode C only item. We are not going to be exploiting it, like I said. We're just going to be using it to check our IVs. So, because by the time, I think nobody else is breeding right now, and by the time that anybody gets into breeding, the command should be in, I should imagine. So, we've got a couple of things coming up in the next update. So, including the Pokemon Chisel will have a crafting recipe and everything. But what we can do is we can click Edit right here, and we can go to Advanced, and we can see the IVs right here. So you can see HP, and remember these are X out of 31. Okay? Wow, this Pokemon has horrible IVs. HP is a 6 out of 31. Attack is a 0 out of 31, which actually I would love to have that. I would love, I mean, ideally, if I was going for max IVs on this Nidoran, I would go 31 on HP, 0 on attack, 31 on defense, 31 on special attack, 31 on special defense, 31 on speed. That's what I would build. But since we're not going for max IVs, I'm just looking for decent IVs. And this one is not a decent IV spread. So we got 6, we got 0, we got 11, we got 23. The special attack's actually pretty decent, which I can respect that. Special defense is 2, which still just being decent. I mean, it's just barely over like mid-par. And then the speed is 25, which is pretty reasonable. Okay, so that one is junk. And that was the first one? Yeah. Okay, first one is junk. Second, we have... This one's a bit better. We have a 17 on HP. We have a 28 on attack, which I really don't like that. The reason being is because I'm not going to be a physical attacker, but having that extra physical attack on my IVs means that if I get confused, I'm going to deal more damage to myself. Oh, wait, this one has Poison Point. Maybe I didn't scan these as good as I thought. This one has Hustle. This one has Hustle. Hustle. Yeah, I think it's maybe just that one that got through. Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and dump. This one is junk. And this one we're not going to use, because the IVs are just too bad. If I have to breed more, I will. But, you know, if I need to. But, yeah. So this one has Hustle. We have a 25 on HP. We have a 7 on attack, which isn't too bad. We have a 12 on defense, a 7 on special attack, a 16 on special defense, and 8 on speed. That's horrendous. That's horrendous IVs. Next up, we have a 30 on HP. That's not bad. That's almost maxed out. But then we have a 0 on attack. Also really, really good. Here's where it starts to hurt. We have a 1 on defense. That's bad. We have a 26 on special attack. That's actually pretty good. I would take that. A 27 on special defense. That's pretty good. I would take that. And then we have an 8 on speed, which is pretty horrendous. And speed is a very, very important stat. I always hate low IVs on speed. Next up, we have a 12 on HP. This one actually looks like, and this is pretty horrendous too. I don't think I could bring myself to go with this, because we have a 12 on HP, and HP is super important stat. I'd like to have at least in the 20s on that. Attack is 19, defense is 24, special attack is 23, special defense is 13, and speed is 10. Okay, so it's more of like a balanced spread. It's not really what we're going for. It's not really like high-end positive. And then last up, we have a 17 on HP, a 6 on attack, a 14 on defense, a 26 on special attack, a 2 on special defense, and a 13 on speed. Okay, so right now, I think if I had to choose between one of these, which I probably won't, I'll probably just keep breeding. But if I had to choose, it would probably be this one. I don't know. That loss in defense and speed is horrendous, but the benefits to special attack and special defense, I could get behind. Okay, I'm going to mark that. I'm going to write that down. And I'm going to do some math because the defense and the speed it's really, really lacking there. But at the same time, I mean, this isn't going to be a super fast Pokemon, so is it a game changer when I have this good of special attack, special defense, and HP IVs? I don't know. I don't know. That is the second one, right? I have like OCD about it. Because once again, it's just for the gym team, so it doesn't have to be maxed out stats. I mean, I don't want to make the gym difficult. I plan on making it difficult, but not difficult to the point that it's just overly difficult, you know. So I want to leave kind of a little bit of leeway there for opponents to have maybe some breathing room. And then last up, we have to take a look at the males. Okay, so first up we have a 17 on HP, a 4 on attack. This is a good spread. I mean, the speed is low, but at the same time, I think for my Nidoking and my Nidoqueen, if I had to lose on any stat aside from attack, it would be speed. Because I'm trying to pack a big punch, right? And so this isn't a bad spread. I would still like to see the HP up at least over the 20 range, ideally. But for the trade-off for the defense and the special attack and the special defense all being above 20, I could probably get behind that. That's actually not too bad. Okay, and then next up we have an 11, a 7, a 24, a 23, a 21, a 6. This is basically just a weaker version of the one we just looked at. Definitely not going with that one. Next up, we have 31 on HP. Oh, that special defense is low, but that speed is so good. I don't know. This is a tough one. Okay, so we have a 31, a 7, a 20, a 23, a 13, and a 29. So it's really between 1 and 3 at the moment. Let me actually dump off. Let me do some reorganizing here. This one's junk. We're not going to use that one. Okay, so next up we have a 25, a 3, an 8, a 26, a 2, a 22. That's terrible. No thanks. And then lastly, we have a 17, an 18, a 3, a 23, an 8, an 8. Also terrible. Okay, so there's no chance that we're going with these two. We'll just dump these off. Okay, so right now this is my best female out of all of them. That was a pretty easy choice. And then my males, I'm really torn. And this was a 30, a 0, a 1, a 26, a 27, and an 8. Really good in the special categories and the HP, but that defense and that speed are lacking. So over here we have... Let me actually write these out real quick. Okay, I got that one written out. And then over here we have a 31 in HP. So 31 against a 17. Almost double in the IV category. The attack is a 7. The other one's a 4. The lower the attack, the better. So either one of those, not too bad. Then we have a 20 in defense versus a 24 in defense. So in that case, the first one wins out a little bit. But then we have, in the special attack category, we have a 23 on both of them. They are equal across the board, so no benefit there. And then special defense, we have a 13, whereas the first one has a 28 in special defense. So big difference there. I mean, at this point, I would really be trading off for special defense for HP, you know. But then it shines again with the speed at 29 compared to the other one having a speed of 8. With one IV maxed on this one and another IV almost maxed, and then 2 in the mid-range, like the high mid-range, and then 1 with the low mid-range, I'm honestly leaning towards this one. Because even though the special attack... I mean, the special attack is balanced across the board. This one's just not as defensive, honestly. This one's better at speeding in and attacking quick. Very, very quick with a 29 IV. I mean, that's better than I was expecting. So I'm actually probably going to take this one because at the end of the day, I would love to have pretty defensive stats. Nidoking and Nidoqueen, they're not bad defensive Pokemon. I mean, they're not super tanky Pokemon, but they're not bad. I mean, they're pretty stout. But at the end of the day, I'm really wanting to get that special attack. I mean, it's, like I said, it's balanced across the board. HP, you always want to have as much of that as you can possibly have, because take it from me, I mean, let's say this was 30. The difference between a 30 IV and a 31 IV can actually change a game pretty. I've actually had it happen one time, where I was on my last Pokemon, won the battle with literally 1 HP remaining. So, and that was not due to sturdy or otherwise. So, I mean, that difference in IV can actually turn around a game. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go with this one, this second one. And I think I'm pretty happy with that. And, I mean, like, the thing is, down the road, once we get our gym team up and going, and I want to make sure this is the right one. Yes. And then this one, I'm still... I don't know. I really like it because that special attack, it's just that defense and that speed are so horrendous. But honestly, without getting a Destiny Knot, I mean, you saw I bred 11 Nidorans. And actually, let's take a look, just out of curiosity, at the ones that we tossed out, which we already looked at that one. But let's take a look at the ones that we tossed out that didn't have the right ability, just to see a comparison on their IVs. So if we take a look here, this one is 11, 7, 8, 26, 13, and 5. Not a good one. This one is 17, 0, 8, 7, 1, 21. When you see something like that where it's just a whole lot of single digits, it's like, okay, nope, not a chance. We take a look at this one, 8, 7, 0, 26, 18, 8. And then we take a look at this one. It's 17, 18, 8, 26, 24, and 0. That's not a terrible one, but it's still, well, it's nowhere near as good as the male that I got. So I think I'm going to stick with these two. These are reasonable ones. I mean, they're really not, I keep forgetting about that. They're really not bad off, I don't think. I really don't need this Slugma anymore. Let me put this away. They're really not too bad off on their IVs. I mean, that's a decent amount. The female, I think, could suffer right here, especially the speed. I would love for that to be higher, but the fact that it's not. I mean, technically, I can make up for it when it comes to EV training, because the only EV that I'm dead set on having is full EVs on special attack on them. The others, I'm actually still on the fence about, and I was kind of wanting to see their IVs before I decided one way or the other. The male he's good. I'll probably boost special defense, like go special attack. The only thing is I really love coupling it with HP, unless I'm going on a quick Pokemon. But I don't know. I might couple it up with special defense. But for example, if we take a look at, say, Houndoom, he's 24/7, 31, 12, 22, 21. Huh. His IVs are actually better than I was expecting, but he is pretty stout. I will give him that. But that brings us to the next point. Okay, you can see on over here, EVs. We have 56, we have 82, we have 78, we have 76, we have 62, and 107. They're all over the place. Literally all over the place. EVs are earned. You'll notice that my level 1 Pokemon have no EVs. And this is the next big step in our training extravaganza. Let me dump this off. Let me pop back into Game Mode S. We're done in Creative Mode. EVs, I will probably check my EVs once it's done, just to make sure that the wiki was accurate, on what that I should be going up against. I don't want to fight anything right now. I'm very particular. When I start EV training, I'm very particular. I don't like getting into engagements that I'm not intending to get into. But basically what EVs are is, as you level your Pokemon, they're going to earn a point in a stat category. Now, if you take a look, like, actually the male has Pokerus, and if you have Pokerus, you get double points. And then we're going to get a Macho Brace, which doubles it again, so we're going to be looking at 4 times points. But anyways, whenever you are first leveling your Pokemon, my Houndoom is done. He doesn't need any more EVs. He can't earn any more EVs unless I remove some of his current EVs using berries and stuff like that. But basically, every time you defeat a Pokemon, based on that Pokemon species, it's going to award X amount of X EV. Okay? And that EV is going to fall into either HP, attack, defense, special defense, and speed, just like our IVs did. And yeah, you can see, for the example, the Nidoran female, it's 6, 6, 6, and 5. And then with the Nidoran male, it's 6, 6, 5, 6. And his special defense was, I think, 13. I should have wrote his down too, but I didn't. I wrote down the other one, the other males, but I'll check them later and we'll see. But yeah, and I really think I can get behind that female. She has a lot of special attack, special defense. Looking back at her stats, I mean, yeah, I'm kind of bummed about that defense stat. Does she really only have 1 in defense? Is it? Awesome. Okay. Well, I'm probably EV train her on defense for that. For that reason, I might. But anyways, so what we're going to have to do is we're actually going to have to check the wiki. We're going to have to say which Pokemon give which EV. And then we have to set out to train those EVs. Now, each species of Pokemon is only going to give 1 type of EVs, and the points can vary generally between 1 and 3 points. Okay, so for example, I know that Caterpie is HP, at least in the base game. I'm not for sure about on here. I'll have to check, but I'm pretty sure it's probably the same thing. Caterpie is an HP Pokemon. And so whenever you defeat a Caterpie, you're going to get 1 EV point in HP. And so basically at this point we have to take our time and not defeat random Pokemon that we don't mean to be engaging. That's very important, because if I mess up and I say take on a Ghastly, which I'm not for sure, but I'm guessing Ghastly's probably got special attack maybe, EVs. And if I take him on, well, special attack I need, but let's say I was going for attack, that EV is, I'm going to get it. You know, if this Nidoran enters battle or in any way gains experience from that battle, it will get an EV point. Now, if it just sits here and I don't have an experience share or anything like that on it, it will not get EVs for that point, or for that battle. So it's kind of important that we pick and choose our fights for the next bit. EV training is probably, I love all of breeding, I really, really do. But I think if I had to pick, EV training would probably be my least favorite thing in Pokemon breeding, because I don't know. I've never had a mistake happen, but I always worry that a mistake might happen. You know what I mean? So we're going to be really, really careful as we move forward. So let me look on the wiki and figure out which Pokemon we're going to be shooting for, because of course our biome is going to be dependent on what Pokemon might be the best option for, say, special attack. We're actually going to be going for special attack EVs first on our Nidoran male and female, and then we will switch over. And I'm actually going to, for right now, I'm going to focus on one of these at a time. Now, technically, I could start off with the Nidoran male and then switch in the Nidoran female and then switch in, but I end up running the risk of it fainting, and I don't like doing that. So I'm actually just going to set the Nidoran female here, and I'm going to have the Nidoran male with me here. I nearly forgot about these, and we're going to be using these for the special attack grind, because they give us 4 bonus points to special attacks. Anytime that we gain EVs, we're going to get 4 bonus points to special attack. And so basically we're going to get, say, if we beat a Ghastly, that's actually going to be the Pokemon that we're going after. It is a special attack EV Pokemon. We're going to get 1 point for beating Ghastly, but then we're going to get 4 bonus points for Power Lens, and then it's going to get doubled from Pokéra, so we're going to get 10 points. And basically what we have to do is we need to get, we're going to go for max on special attack first, and that is 252 points in special attack that we can get. 252 EVs. So we're going to have to beat 26 Ghastlys with Nidoran male, and then we're going to have to beat 26 Ghastlys with Nidoran female. And basically, we'll, oh, wow, I got lucky here. And basically, let's go ahead and throw him out. What we're going to do is we're just going to go, as soon as we throw out our Nidoran male, we're going to switch him. And we're going to go to Houndoom. And then we can no longer escape. That's cool. And then we're just going to go into a feint attack and just insta-kill it. Okay. So we should have gotten 10 EVs, and Nidoran's going to level up. We're going to get some levels here. And you can see our stats are starting to take off a little bit. And We're getting a few levels. We're up to level 6, which isn't bad, I don't think, for beating a level 16. Okay, but that should be 20 EV points that we've gotten already on Nidoran Male. Now, you could do things a little bit differently, and you could actually be grinding, say, HP EVs with the Power Lens, and you would be getting 4 EVs for special attack every time that you gain EVs, every time you finish a battle. And then, of course, it would get doubled to 8. But we're going to just focus down special attack and then Macho Brace and go with, we'll be getting 4 EVs per battle, and we'll do the other side of things.